Alright, time for another WBC qualifier team preview. Today we're looking at South Africa, the number 1 country in Africa, but only number 31 in the world, the lowest ranked country in either WBC qualifier. Does that mean the chances of South Africa advancing to the WBC are slim? Not really. They will be underdogs, but they still have a good chance of making it to the big show. If everything clicks right for them, we could see South Africa in the WBC for the first time since 2009. That's back when the WBC was invitation only. So if they make it here, it would be their first time qualifying for the WBC. They'll be headed to Taipei to take on Taiwan, Nicaragua, and Spain. Here's the schedule. Day 1, Friday, February 21st, they'll take on Nicaragua. Day 2, they'll meet the host, Taiwan. And on the final day of the round robin, Sunday, they're up against Spain. Upon completion of the round robin, the top team advances to the WBC. Number 4 team is out. Monday is a day off. And on Tuesday, the number 2 and 3 teams meet one more time. Winner qualifies for the WBC, loser cries about it for the next 3 years. Last time we saw South Africa play was at the qualifier for the 2023 WBC, 2.5 years ago in Germany. They lost a tough opening game versus Spain. They fell behind in the middle innings, tied it up in the 7th, fell behind again, staged a 9th inning rally, scored 2 but came up short, losing that one by just 1 run. In their second game versus Germany, they led 1-0 after 3 innings. But everything fell apart in the 6th when they allowed 7 runs. They ended up losing 11-5 and were eliminated. And we haven't seen anything from South Africa's senior national team since. Unlike the Asian, Latin American, and European teams, there's one of each in this qualifier, South Africa doesn't have competitive neighbors to play against. Most other countries in Africa are too far behind South Africa. And due to funding issues, it's hard to arrange games and tournaments. So South Africa's senior national team only gets experience in tournaments like this. In the past 8 years, we've seen 2 South Africans reach the Major League level. One was infielder Gifton Gope, the first South African to play in Major League Baseball. After 2 seasons in MLB, he played in AAA, Australia, Atlantic League, and Frontier League, but hasn't been heard from since 2021, absent from professional baseball and from the national team. This time is no different, he won't be there. The other South African to reach the Major League level was pitcher Taylor Scott, and he is still there. He had the best season of his career in 2024, but like most active major leaguers, he won't be taking part in this. Another name missing from the roster is pitcher Kieran Lovegrove, a former AAA Indians prospect who was on South Africa's WBC qualifier team last time in 2022. Don't know where he is now, but he won't be there for this tournament. So let's take a look at who is on the roster. Pitchers first. They'll need 4 starting pitchers since they'll have up to 4 games in 5 days, and they'll want a 5th starting pitcher in case something goes wrong. Their go-to starting pitcher will have to be 32-year-old right-hander Dylan Unsworth. Though he's never reached the major league level, he's had quite a career for himself. Pitched a couple years at the AAA level in the Mariners and Angels systems, 3 years in Venezuela, 3 years in Australia, 2 years in the LMB, where he threw a no-hitter. Last seen a year ago in Venezuela, where he made 7 starts, 35 innings, and a 4.11 ERA. Next has to be 35-year-old Justin Erasmus. He pitched in the minors a long time ago, a few years in the Frontier League, 1 year in the Dutch League, and 12 years in the Australian League, though not the last 2 years. Though he's been a reliever most of his pro career, he really shined as a starting pitcher at the last WBC qualifier. In South Africa's first game versus Spain, he tossed 5 innings and allowed only 1. After that, there's no one with a good background as a starting pitcher. Hard to say who they'll use. In the bullpen, they've got 26-year-old Daniel Mendelsohn. He's been pitching around Europe the past decade, and with the South African national teams. At the last WBC qualifier versus Spain, he retired 4 straight batters in relief. No hits, no walks. But versus Germany, he faced 2 batters, got neither one out, and was charged with 2 earned runs. 33-year-old Dean Jacobs pitched in the 2017 and 2023 qualifiers. In the last one, he threw 1 scoreless inning versus Germany. 36-year-old Jared Alario. Since 2006, he has pitched in every WBC or qualifier for South Africa, but hasn't been too successful. Last time versus Spain, he allowed 4 runs on 5 hits and 1 walk, 1 2/3 innings of relief. Brandon Smith was on the last qualifier team but didn't get to pitch. He's from a good baseball family. His brother's on this team. You'll hear about him later. Vince Dazel, 26 years old, pitched a few years at the rookie level in the Pirate system, many years ago. Rowan Eberson, a left-handed reliever, played 1 year in the Twins organization, 10 years ago, and that was when he was a position player. Anthony Sayers is straight out of college, St. Joseph's College of Maine last year, where he only threw 5 innings. And that's their pitching staff. Couple good starters. In the bullpen, a lot of national team experience. That would be great if their national team had a record of success in the WBC. Then again, some teams finally do find success by keeping a lot of the same national team members together. Maybe this will be the time when their years of experience finally pay off. On to the position players. At catcher, 27-year-old Tyrone Milne was the starting left fielder at the last qualifier. He was 2 out of 3 with a walk versus Spain, and 1 out of 4 versus Germany, so we know he can hit. 34-year-old Dale Feltman can hit too. At the last qualifier, he was 3 out of 5 with a home run versus Germany. Luke November had good hitting numbers in 2022 at an NAIA college, and he was South Africa's best hitter at the Under-23 World Cup last year. In the infield, Tyler Smith, a 27-year-old left-handed hitting second baseman and shortstop, plays in the Czech League, where in 2021 he was Extraliga's best hitter. Last summer, though, he only had a .665 OPS, also 5 out of 5 in stolen bases in 45 games. At the last qualifier, he was 2 out of 9 with a double, a stolen base, and 2 RBI. Victor Ngope, listed by his actual first name here, brother of Major League hitter Gift Ngope, can play second or short. Played in the Pirates system up until 2019. Last I knew, he was playing in South Africa a couple years ago. Last qualifier, he was 1 out of 4 with 2 walks, a double, and an RBI. 38-year-old Jonathan Phillips was the starting third baseman at the last qualifier. From the leadoff spot, he was 3 out of 8 with a double and an RBI. 34-year-old Anthony Phillips played in the MLB system from 2007 to 2018, getting up to AAA. In the outfield, 29-year-old Chris Bayers, who played for Saudi Arabia in the Little League World Series years ago, has been one of the top hitters in Baseball Bundesliga in recent years. Last time at the qualifier, he played third and DH for South Africa, but went 0 for 6 at the plate. 26-year-old Jason Carell started at right. He was 0 for 4 with a walk. 35-year-old Brandon Bouillon has been with the national team for a long time. He was one of the best hitters at the 2019 Olympic qualifier. Brandon Edmonds, a 36-year-old left-handed batter, was on the WBC qualifier team last time, but never got to play. So with the hitters, just as with the pitchers, there are a few with good professional or amateur resumes, but most of them haven't done much outside of the national team. That's where most of these guys do have experience. They've played together in the past, they know each other, not just a bunch of random guys put together. They'll have to use that as their strength and play smarter than the other teams, because their talent simply doesn't measure up. I would point to their last round-robin game versus Spain as the most important. They'll go into that one in one of two situations. Either both countries are 0-2 and they're playing a loser-goes-home game, or Spain has one win and South Africa needs to beat them to create a three-way tie. Either way, they need to win that one to stay alive and play in the final game on Tuesday. And since Justin Erasmus pitched so well against Spain last time, they might want to use him again. 5 innings, 1 run. If he can do that again, he can give them a chance to win. As for Unsworth, I'd save him for the final game, unless the situation gets desperate versus Spain, that is. But if they don't need him, it would be best to save him for the last game. That's what I would do, but I have a feeling they'll have him start versus Nicaragua. For the first 2 games, I don't know who else they've got to use as a starting pitcher, but they'll definitely depend more on the bullpen. Actually, that's the case for all the games. Starting pitchers don't go deep into these games. And that spells trouble for South Africa. Their bullpen seemingly lacks the depth necessary to win in a tournament like this. 4 games and they'll need to win at least 2 of them. That's a lot of pitchers they'll need to use. And beyond those 2 starters and a couple relievers, it doesn't look so good. For that reason, I picked this team to finish 4th in this group. But keep in mind, this South African team came within 1 run of beating Spain in the opening game of the qualifier last time. And this is pretty much the same South African team. Lovegrove is out, but Unsworth is here this time. Should be about the same, maybe even an upgrade. So they're perfectly capable of beating Spain. Then they just need to do the same versus a Nicaragua team that, on paper, looks like they're on about the same level as Spain. The odds will be against them, but it can be done. Anyway, that is South Africa. 2 down, 2 to go. Look for previews for Nicaragua and Taiwan coming later this week. That's all for this one, and until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya!